Another topic that kind of exemplifies the rift between Shelby County and Memphis and state lawmakers and the state capitol was what happened this week over the threat by some leaders in the Republican Party in Nashville saying that we're going to take away Memphis's sales tax revenue if they go ahead with these 3 referendums on the ballot that were proposed for November, giving the public a chance to weigh in on, do we need to regulate handgun permits? Do we need to regulate assault rifles? And there was a red flag law in there too. And a lot of questions whether that was even constitutional for them to threaten to do that. People pay their sales taxes, and Shelby County should get them back. But it once again highlighted this rift, Otis, between Memphis and state lawmakers who want to clamp down on anything they do. Going back to the Confederate statues, no, we're the ones in control here. Right. Now, in fairness, the state law, the referendums would be in violation of state law.
Right, that is true. And there is that school of thought, and Mark and I were talking about it off camera, about whether this is just merely a glorified opinion poll. And a lot of people think that it is.
To have the referendum.
To even have, forget the referendum, do an opinion poll if you just want to take the temperature of the voters. I kind of get that, but to threaten to take away your sales tax was just a wrong thing to do. And the fact is that the legislature passed a trigger law that could not go into effect, waiting to see what was going to happen with abortion. And then once abortion was overturned by the Supreme Court, then the trigger law kicked in. I see that as the same thing here. This is a trigger a referendum, if you will. And if the legislature ever gets a little bit of courage and allows cities like Memphis and Nashville and Knoxville to regulate guns within their own communities, then that referendum would take effect. But whatever it is, it went to court on Friday. Somebody filed a lawsuit, and they have to make that decision before September 21st, because I'm told that is the deadline to get something on the ballot.
And it's going to the lawsuit because the Secretary of State and in line the Shelby County Election Commission agreed to not put it on the ballot at all. Right. And so the City Council is fighting that. I had a City Councilman tell me off the record that this was their intent all along. Wow. They wanted this to go to court and test it. To go to court. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's not shocking, right? You know, you'll see a story from the Daily Memphian here shortly. Well, shortly, this will air on Sunday. You know, the mayor, said this sort of almost, Mayor Paul Young has said this is just inflaming tensions, that this is an exercise essentially in futility. And that's a very interesting statement for the city's chief executive to make regarding this lawsuit and the city council filing. But it's also, to Otis's point, it's a trigger. It's waiting to happen. And so what is interesting to me is while everyone can say do a poll, it's not, everyone else is gonna say, well, it's not scientific. We don't trust the polls. We don't trust Nate Silver, whomever, right? Like 538, like a couple 100,000 people voting in a presidential election, voting on this would really give you a good idea of where, the better part of 1 million people stand. Well, 650,000 people stand. Yeah. And that's a very interesting thing. And I would be curious what Cameron Sexton and Lieutenant Governor McNally would say to, let's say, if it passes 60-40, a couple 100,000 Memphians saying we want to be carved out because we think our community will be safer without open carry.
And the needs are different, and concerns are different from urban, big cities and the rural areas of the state. There's a lot of understandable conflict there. I've got less than 30 seconds, but what's your take on this, Mark?
Again, I think if you put it on the ballot, if it passes or fails, it really doesn't matter because, again, local government can't supersede state law. And so I think it's, as much as I respect all the Memphis City Council members, I don't really understand the return on investment. This is, again, is this going to give us a black eye on the Hill? And we need the support of our legislators. Like them or not, they do a lot for our community.
Okay. All right. I have to leave it there. I got 8 seconds to say goodbye, but thanks to both of you, all 3 of you, I should say, for being on the show today. And thanks to you at home. We'll see you next time for ABC24 This Week.